Landman is the latest TV series from Taylor Sheridan, and the premiere episodes dive straight into the deep end of the Texas oil industry. Billy Bob Thornton leads the Landman cast as Tommy Norris, a crisis executive for an oil company who's forced to balance the complicated worlds of his home and family life after they begin to intertwine. The series begins with Tommy's son, Cooper, Jacob Laughlin, beginning his first day working the oil fields, where he's toughened up by an experienced crew. Meanwhile, Tommy's daughter comes to live with him while his ex-wife is on vacation. In episode 1's ending, Cooper is present when an oil rig explodes, causing the deaths of his entire crew. This piles onto Tommy's problems, as an earlier part of the episode also saw 3 vehicles, including a plane, crash, causing an explosion that involves his company. Both situations have attracted attention from law enforcement that, as Sheriff Walt explains, can't be ignored. This sets the usually mellow Tommy on an emotional path, where he calls Monty Williams, Jon Hamm, on the phone to yell at him, causing a tense verbal encounter between the pair. Did Cooper cause the oil rig explosion? The explosion was caused by faulty equipment. Character working an oil rig in Landman. There's a point in Landman episode 2 when Tommy arrives on the scene and starts asking Cooper questions about the incident. He asks Cooper if he turned a knob that looks like a Christmas tree, to which Cooper states that he doesn't remember. For a moment, it seems like Cooper has made some sort of mistake that led to the accident that would put Tommy in an even bigger bind of trying to protect his son. He also calls his son selfish in the hospital scene. However, it doesn't seem like this is actually the case, with the issue being that the machinery just wasn't up to code. Tommy accuses Cooper of being selfish for wanting to be in the patch in the first place and continues to berate him for his decisions. Cooper suggests that if he has problems, it's because of the way Tommy parented him, implying that he hasn't been an actively engaged father. Cooper wants to be an oil CEO like Monty Williams but doesn't exactly know how to go about doing that. What Tommy meant in his Dreamers and Losers speech. Tommy compares Odessa to the American frontier. Billy Bob Thornton as Tommy Norris in the Landman trailer. Tommy's daughter, Ainsley, Michelle Randolph, has quite a large personality, and when Tommy explains to her that her brother is considering working on the oil patch, she calls him a loser. Tommy criticizes her for this and passes down some wisdom about how everyone in Texas is either a dreamer or a loser. He compares contemporary Odessa to pioneer California, which loosely ties back to another Taylor Sheridan show Billy Bob Thornton appeared in, the pioneer Western drama 1823. The point of Tommy's speech is to suggest that working in oil is an enormous risk. The men who died earlier in the episode are paid $180,000, but at the risk that any day, some tragedy could occur. They're dreamers attempting to turn their lives around, and he admires their ambition. When prompted with the question of whether she's a dreamer or a loser, Ainsley says she wants to be a dreamer. Tommy, knowing how his daughter has been coddled her whole life, suggests that in order to be one, she'll first have to learn how to fail. Jon Hamm's Monty Williams' character, and his relationship to Tommy. He explained. Monty Williams is a big city oil tycoon and Tommy's boss. Tommy spends the entirety of the first 2 episodes saying whatever he wants to whoever he wants, including a police officer that he angers right in front of the sheriff. But there's only one person who puts him in his place, and that's Monty Williams. One of the final scenes in Landman episode 2 sees Tommy angrily call Monty on the phone about the situation after Rebecca has arrived in Odessa in place of the attorney Tommy was expecting and hoping for, putting him in a bind. Tommy and Monty seem like they're on relatively good terms, but this scene reveals that there's a clear hierarchy in their relationship. Later, when Tommy and Cooper discuss Cooper's future career path, Cooper states that Tommy could have been like Monty if he didn't give up. Tommy disputes that by saying Monty is in his position because he has a trust fund, implying that Jon Hamm's character was born under wealthier circumstances than he. Oppositely, Tommy is $500,000 in debt. Tommy's ex-wife and family situation explained. Tommy and Angela are divorced. Michelle Randolph's Ainsley and Ali Larter's Rebecca smiling and standing next to Billy Bob Thornton's Tommy at a bar in Landman. Tommy's ex-wife Angela has appeared as a character in both episodes of Landman, though she's only appeared on his cell phone in FaceTime calls. They divorced years prior, and Tommy suggests that they were never really meant for each other. Angela is apparently now married to an unattractive man who's quite wealthy, so it's possible her divorce from Tommy was over his debt. Alternatively, Tommy could have been the one who sought out the divorce, which would explain her constantly coming on to him.